Today, we are going to be looking at how to graph relationships. So this is lesson 9.4. So previously, we've learned that tables and equations are two ways to represent the relationship between quantities. You can also represent a relationship between two quantities by using a graph. So this is just another way for us to kind of visualize and show those equations. So we are going to be on page 511. I'm going to give you a second. Make sure you are on the correct page. Awesome. So a cafeteria has a pancake making machine. We're going to do this unlock the problem. The table shows the relationship between the time in hours and the number of pancakes that the machine can make. Graph the relationship represented by the table. So in 1 hour, it can make 200 pancakes. 2 hours is 400 pancakes. 3 hours is 600. 4 is 800. 5 is 1,000. So when we take these tables, we want to make a graph. So in order to do this, the first thing we're going to do is write ordered pairs for the graphs, or sorry, for the ordered pairs and the relationships in the table. So we're going to think our hours is going to be our X value, and then our pancakes are going to be our Y value. And now we know X goes before Y when writing our ordered pairs. So they already wrote the first one for us. We thought that 1 hour is 200 pancakes. So we said 1, comma 200. So we're going to look in 2 hours. My pen's not wanting to work. There we go. 2 hours is 400. 3 hours is 600. Following this pattern, go ahead and write the last two ordered pair. Awesome. So we're going to see that 4 hours is 800 and 5 hours is 1,000. So we're just looking at each of those pairs, those rows, 1 to 200, 2 to 400, so on. We're going to look at each of those as an ordered pair. And now we need to remember how to graph these on our graphs. So our x-axis is that horizontal, that side to side, and our y-axis is the up and down. So the first one we have is 1 to 200. So we're going to go over 1 and up to 200, and that's where our first dot's going to go. Our second one is 2, 400. So we're going to go over 2 and then up to 400. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put our dot right here. And now I'm going to think they only gave us 1 and 2. So to fill in the rest of this, we're going to keep counting each time it's 1 bigger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now to go up, every 2 is 200. So 1, 2, 200, 1, 2, 400, 1, 2, 600, 1, 2 is 800, and 1, 2 is 1,000. Go ahead and see if you can graph the last ordered pairs that we have. So we're going to do 3 to 600, 4 is 800, 5 is 1,000. And now, if you remember back in chapter 8, when we looked at some of these graphs, we talked about that they should always end up looking like some sort of line. That way I know because it's increasing at a steady rate. So that way I can check and know if I've done mine correctly. And I'm going to look, and if I drew a line straight through, it would go through all of this. If I could draw one that was completely straight, but I didn't. So remember, if I have a number or a graph that's way off, I know that that one's not correct because it doesn't match up in my line. All right, let's look at this example on page 512. So the table shows the relationship between the number of bicycles, Y, Sean has left to assemble, and the number of hours he has worked, which is X. Graph the relationship represented in the table to find the unknown value of Y. So go ahead, and first thing that I want you to do is graph the ordered pairs that are over here. But notice that we have an unknown value for 2 hours. So 0 hours, he had 10 left. 1 hour, he had 8 left. 2 hours, we don't know how many he had left. 3 hours, we have 4 left. And 4 hours, we have 2 left. So go ahead and write our ordered pairs for these 4 rows that are complete. All right, so the first one they gave us was 0, 10, and that one's already written. Our next one is going to be 1, 8. We can't do 2 because we don't know what this value is. So let's go down to 3, which is 4. And then we'll go 4, which is 2. So now that we have our ordered pairs, we need to graph them. Take a second and see if you can graph these 4 ordered pairs on our graph. All right, so our first one they give us was 0, 10. It's all the way up here. We're not going side to side at all. We're just going straight up to 10. Our next one is 1 and then up to 8. Our next one is 3 up to 4. And then 4 up to 2. So we have these 4 ordered pairs graphed, and now we are trying to find that unknown value. So one way I could do this is looking and seeing where the line would go. So if I was to draw a line to connect all of these dots, and I'm going to do my best to make it straight. I'm going to draw my line to connect them and see where would it land in my 2 hours. Well, here's 2 hours, and I'm going to go straight up and see that it would land right here on 2, 6. So the X value, when X has a value of 2, Y has a value of 6. So after 2 hours, Sean has 6 bicycles that are left. All right, take a second and see if you can graph questions 1 and 2. All right, so our first one, we have 150, 2, 100, 3, 150, and 4, 200. And so I'm going to go 150 and then 2, 100. My dot's a little thicker. 3, 150, over to 4, up to 200. And again, they should make a nice line all the way through. All right, number 2, I have 200 to 100, or not 200, sorry, 20 to 100, 40 to 200 right here, 60 to 300, and 80 to 400. And when I graph them, I should have a nice line. So we've done work like this previously in different lessons. Let's go ahead, and the last ones that we're going to try are questions 3 and questions 4. So these ones are a little bit opposite. The first ones on page 513 that we just did, we had to graph them. This time we want to graph and find the missing value. So take a second and let's do number 3. Let's find what this missing value is in this box for Y. All right, so the first thing we need to do is do 4, 9. Let's graph these babies. 4, 9. And then 5, to 7, 6 to 5. We don't know 7, so we're going to do 8 to 1. And so now I'm going to notice each time we're going over 1 and down 2. So I go over 1, down 2. If I went over 1 and down 2, my dot's going to be right here, which would be at 7 and 3. So my value is 7, 3. Go ahead and try to do question 4. Find the missing value. What is y? All right, so again, we're going to do 1, 3. We're going to graph these. 3 to 4, 5 to 5. We don't know what 7 is, and then we're going to do 9 to 7 right up here. So we can see these go in a line. And now each time I'm going up 1 and over 2. Up 1, over 2. So now if I go up 1, over 2, my dot, and it matches right in that line, is going to be at 7 and 6. So our y, our missing value, is 6. All right, so you guys have some work that you can practice to continue working on these. And then we will work on this more on Friday. Or no, on Monday.